Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Hello! So I thought I would dig out some more G.I. Joe toys and show you some of the stuff I had growing up. So to kind of round out the last of the oddballs that I have here, this is the Dominator. This is from Battle Force 2000. As you can see, it is very much not complete. This, I remember, was bought for me by my dad. He brought it home from a flea market, and yeah, you know, I played with it some. Battle Force 2000 was a subset of G.I. Joe. It was from 87, I think it was, 87, 88, something like that. Their gimmick is that their vehicles came apart, and if you had them all, you could form this battle station. They were all supposed to be super futuristic and stuff, you know, for the year 2000. This was to be a cold weather tank. As you can see, there is a lot of yellowing to this. As far as I can remember, it was that way when I got it. It had a lot of yellowing to it. It's probably gotten worse over the years. I'm missing a lot of this vehicle. The figure, of course. I'm missing the hatch up here. There's a thing here that a gun's supposed to come out of. Side panel to the engine detail here. As you can see, it's on skids. Some foot pegs here. And this thing opens up. And as you can see, there's a smaller vehicle here with wheels. 6 wheels here. Yep, 1987. Again, I'm missing parts. I'm missing the covers to this grenade stash here, and this, I don't know if this is supposed to be engine parts or rockets or something like that. Some more detail in there. And I'm missing one of the little front guns that goes here. So the idea is that you know, this thing would drive around, and this formed the walls of that fortress. And then there was other parts that would go around from the other vehicles that would form the rest of the fortress. This thing, when my dad got it for me, it was later. Much later. Most of my G.I. Joes were at my mom's house at that point, so I didn't have very many G.I. Joes. He just remembered that I liked G.I. Joe, and this said G.I. Joe was at a flea market or yard sale or something, so he bought it, brought it home. It's from that era that I was getting out of G.I. Joe, where stuff just stopped being realistic. And this is the last of my ones that were yard sale and flea market finds, for the most part. This thing, yeah, I would not go collecting the other Battle Force 2000 stuff, but you know, there's going to be people out there that like that era of G.I. Joe, and they'd probably love something like this. I'm going to keep it around though, because it's G.I. Joe. Now, this is technically a flea market, or I'm sorry, a thrift store find, but it is just so awesome that I finally have this thing that I don't really count it as such. I have here the Mobat. Now, I am 99% sure, yep, 1998, So this is definitely not the initial Mobat. They re-released this thing a ton of times. You know, it was with the original release of G.I. Joe. There was the Cobra version of it, the Cat. I want to say there was a play set or 2-pack that came with it that was Toys R Us or something. As you can see here, it was released again in 1998, which was after the classic run of G.I. Joe. I want to say it was released again in the 2000s, but there's a reason they keep re-releasing this thing. This thing is awesome. I wanted this thing so bad as a kid, and you know, it was off the pegs by then. And the Cobra Cat, I want to say, was an exclusive, a Toys R Us exclusive. Whatever releases of it, I never had the chance to get it, and it's a shame. This thing is an awesome, awesome tank. It has a play gimmick. It has batteries. I have not opened this thing up, so I do not know if batteries are in it. I think you've got to unscrew it to get it open to get to the batteries. But it would roll across the floor. It was not remote controlled or anything. You just, using this top turret here, you would turn it, and it would turn one direction or the other, or go front to back. And of course you could spin the main turret here, but since this was connected to the electronic in the body, this top turret didn't turn to play with, it turned to turn the toy on and off. You know, the gun had this telescoping effect, so it was a cool thing to boom, fire the gun and have some recoil, and also, you know, kind of put it away so it would store easier. It had some elevation here with the gun, and like I said, you could turn it all the way around. This was clearly, with this sensor on the front here, was based on the M60 main battle tank, so that is really cool. Yeah, I am missing parts of it. There's supposed to be a gun that goes up, a machine gun that goes up here, and of course the figure that I don't have. But I saw this a couple of years ago. I want to say 7 years ago, something like that, just sitting in a Goodwill on the rack, and I ran up to it thinking, oh my god. And you know, when I first saw it, I thought maybe it was one of the originals. It's not, of course, but it was like $5 or something like that, and I could not pay for this thing fast enough. This is staying in my collection, and there's a little boy inside me that is just giddy that I finally own this thing. It's so awesome. Here I have the Cobra Stinger. I did have the missiles for this thing. I hope I still do. I think they're in a box somewhere, but yeah, there's supposed to be 4 big missiles up here. This is a Cobra kind of redesign of the Vamp. The Vamp is another vehicle that they released lots of different versions of. The Vamp 2, the Stinger, and I think there was even more versions of it. I want to say they were even using this thing for like other toy sets, like the Street Fighter ones, and I don't know. The Vamp was used a lot. Thing's dusty. I need to clean it. There are a few little issues with it. When I was a kid and putting it together, I put the lights on upside down, so they're down here instead of being up here where they're supposed to be. A sticker for the rear light has fallen off at some point. But other than that, it's in pretty decent shape for as much as I played with it. Yeah, this thing was awesome to have as a kid. Just, what can I say? It's a bad guy version of the Vamp. There's so much cool stuff with it, with the doors and the top. And of course, you could take this off to make it look more like the original Vamp if you didn't like the doors, the gull wing doors, but I thought they were cool as a kid. The top did get taken off some you know, to get figures in and out easier. But yeah, this thing is awesome. Definitely one of my favorites as a kid. Next up, I have the Flak. I believe this was a launch toy for G.I. Joe. Mine says 1982. Copyright on it, so this could be one of the originals. I don't remember where I originally got this. I know I've had it for a very long time, but it would not have been bought for me in 1982 or 1983 because I would have been a toddler, a baby at the time. So this might have come mail order, which we'll get into more later. But yeah, the Flak anti-aircraft gun. This thing was really cool. It was always part of my base that I would set up for G.I. Joe. Cardboard boxes or whatever I would make the base out of. Of course, this was a central point of it. What can I say? This thing looks kind of like a realistic anti-aircraft gun. And as such, has either anti-aircraft, as is heavily suggested by the sticker here, where you can see it targeting an aircraft, or as an artillery piece. This thing was awesome. It didn't see a lot of use in the show that I remember. I remember it in a couple episodes maybe, but this thing was cool, and oh yeah, this thing got played with a lot. Next up, and for this batch, I have the Wolverine. This I know was a mail away. It is dated 1983. But I distinctly remember my mom ordering this for me with my flag points. So like I said, we'll talk about that in a future video. As you can see, I am missing some things with it. These are things that I lost as a kid. The mail-aways usually did not come with the figures, so I do not have CoverGirl. That's a shame. I would love to have her. I am missing, there's supposed to be this tow cable here. It was thin and it was plastic and it broke when I was a kid. I distinctly remember crying to my mom about that. And the engine cover here is gone. That was lost when I was very young. There is also a mistake here. The G.I. Joe here is put on upside down. I think my mom thought that it was supposed to go like this, with the base front here when it was put together. I don't know. I've had this so long, I remember having it when I was real little, and either I put it together wrong, or she did, or my dad did, or somebody put the stickers on wrong. So mine sits this way instead of the way that it's supposed to sit. Otherwise, the G.I. Joe logo is upside down. No fixing that at this point. But anyway, this got a lot of use as a kid. It had all of these cool missiles in their pods here, and they would pull out. So you could shoot at the bad guys with them, and you could shoot a lot. And then, of course, put them back. These were not in the same plastic that normal G.I. Joe missiles and accessories were. These were these kind of rubbery plastic. They're not as rubbery as they used to be after 40 years or however long. So they are not as bendable as they used to be, but they were a rubbery plastic here. And yeah, I played with this thing a lot. It had the tow hook on the back. And I remember laying with my mom in the carpet and us, rolling this thing around in the carpet. I don't remember what I towed with it, but I remember towing things with it. And this tow cable that used to go here would go over these things in the back here. So you actually had two options. You had the universal tow hitch, and then you had things here. I kind of suspect one of my like tractor toys, like a baler or something, got towed with this thing when I was super little, because at the time I didn't have much G.I. Joe stuff. But yeah, what can I say? This thing looks somewhat realistic, and it's awesome, and I loved it. Well, guys, let me know below if you had any of this stuff. Did you have the bad boy Mobat growing up? Is it something that you would be interested in? Were you one of the lucky few that had the Crimson Attack Tank, the Cobra version of this thing? That thing looks awesome. Did you enjoy the Flak? Did you enjoy the Stinger? Let me know below. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.
Hello, this is Adam with Dream Made Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.